Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with some MBTI. Today we're going to be checking out Introverted Intuition. For real this time. Let's go ahead and transition over. Introverted Intuition, or NI, is going to be the thing that organizes all the ideas. You're going to narrow the selection down to one thing, whereas the NE is more of a shotgun approach and is looking at all the possibilities. NI is more of a sniper approach and is looking at the one box. It is the one thing that everything else fits into. This is my slide, so this is the one I've spent a lot of time thinking about. I'm an NI Divine, and it's like I cannot help but narrow everything down into these. I've got several one boxes though. Like there's the box of religion that everything gets narrowed down into, and there's a box for politics that everything gets narrowed down into, and then those all get narrowed down into one box as well. And that's just what I do. I narrow down possibilities. I am the one who lives in the future and says what could be, what is most likely going to happen. We are good at finding the best ideas. We're going to take what other people's ideas are and narrow them down into the most likely thing to happen, into the most efficient way to do something. We love to narrow the possibilities down. That we're good, real good helpers that way, in that if you tell us a problem, we're going to give you the most likely solution. So if you don't like getting solutions, you don't want to talk to an NI person. We are the people who are trying to figure out how to best help you. We're really good at efficiency. If streamlining processes, editing, the type of situations where you have to take many possibilities down to one. Figuring out how to most efficiently run a restaurant, how to most efficiently run your business, how to buy and sell the most efficient way. Like efficiency is a real big deal for NI users because the most likely leads to efficiency. They tend to know what will be, especially if it's in the divine slot. Like they just kind of pick out what is probably going to happen out of this, and they're right most of the time. Not all of the time. Nobody is ever right all of the time, but most of the time they get it right. And they're the ones that are like, okay, so this is what that really means, or this person said this, so that this is what that really means. They're good at seeing behind the issue by looking forward to the projected outcome. They're really good at sensing the motivation that leads towards that outcome. So they tend to be more of the hard to deceive type of person. I just realized I did not click on this so that it pops up to the front. Sorry. That's my SI demon kicking me in the butt yet again. All right, let's talk about the divine spot. Here you are going to find the best ideas for others. That is where you're going to be at your peak, is finding the divine, or finding the best ideas for others, narrowing down possibilities for others. These are the type of people that need to be career counselors or process engineers, simply for making things more efficient, streamlining processes, removing the things that don't need to be there. That's why they make good editors. For the crown, they're going to do that for themselves. It's almost the same thing, but it's a little bit different. They're better at self-correcting, self-efficiency, self-use of the function, as opposed to giving it away and just doing it for everybody all the time, whether they want you to or not. The third eye is going to get defensive over the best ideas. They're going to be the ones who, if they tell you this is what is likely to happen, and you say no, that's not likely to happen, whether or not you're right, they're going to get defensive over that. And the throat is going to think that they already know what the best idea is. They're going to think that because if you're, well, that's not necessarily if you are there, but you're going to think that you know the best idea here, because you're really not going to be paying attention at all to the NE, and so you're actually going to get tripped up and held back and overlook possibilities and obsess over choosing it wrong. or obsess over missing the possibilities. We covered that one yesterday. In the heart, you're really going to want the best idea. You're really going to want to be able to narrow things down to the best possibility. You're just not going to be very efficient at it. Like, you are so caught up in catching all of the possibilities that you're going to have a hard time of narrowing down the possibilities. In the solar plexus, you're going to hate that you choose the wrong thing. Not that you don't see the options like we had yesterday, that you get mad if you don't see the options. This is you're going to get mad because you choose the wrong thing. You're going to look at all the possibilities for yourself, and then you're going to choose, but you're going to choose the wrong one. The sacral is going to chase all the best ideas. These are the people that are going to tend to get caught up in conspiracy theories to the level of believing almost all of them, right? Like, I'm an NI divine. I love conspiracy theories. I love thinking about them. I love gathering that information and then distilling them into the ones that are correct or not. But most of them are incorrect. Down here, that's going to be the opposite. They're going to love getting all the conspiracy theories, but they're going to have a very hard time determining which ones are real or not. This is where you're going to catch the flat earth people. This is where you're going to catch the African-centric histories. This is where you're going to catch the people that are caught up in their religion to the point where they absolutely refuse to consider the possibility that there might be something that they missed on that. And it's going to be pretty close to the same for the base, but they're going to obsess about that. These are the people that are wearing the actual hats and building the Faraday cages. They have 6 months worth of food stored up. Not that prepping is bad. Being prepared for an unfortunate situation is a good thing. It is very likely that sometime we will have a situation where you need a couple months worth of food. Like down here in the South, we get hurricanes. This last one, we were without power for 3 weeks. And so for us, having that food comes in handy. But these are the people who are obsessing over it. They are absolutely consumed with being prepared for everything. It's because they can't really pull themselves out of their NI. All they can see is the possibilities. And again, the base and the divine share this. You can get trapped in the conspiracy thing, but it is easier for the divine to get out of it than it is for the base. To integrate, right? Here we're going to have to do the opposite. So if you've got an NI base, then you're going to need to NE it. Take the time. Consider the possibilities that you think you have already considered. You already think that you already know what the best thing is going to be. And no, you don't. You really, really don't. You need to take extra time. You need to make sure that you are considering the actual possibilities that could happen. For the sacral, you're going to have to make sure that you are considering the options as well. This is going to be more of a outsourcing of that, though. You're going to want to make sure that you're checking with other people to correct yourself for that, because you're going to get defensive over the possibilities. So you're going to need to express yourself to other people about that. You're going to need to find someone that you are comfortable with and you don't really fear to be rejected by or any of that, and then have them expose you to the possibilities that you're overlooking. You have to be open, and you cannot fight back whenever you're exposed to these ideas. Accept that you are wrong sometimes. Alright, the solar plexus. The easiest way to deal with this is to accept that yes, you do see these possibilities, or you do see possibilities, because it will be an NE crown if you're dealing with an NI solar plexus. And so you're going to need to accept that yes, you do see these possibilities. Yes, they are something that you need to take the time to consider, instead of just randomly chasing after them and thinking that this is the best one, and no, damn it, it wasn't. Take the time to look at it. Take the time to consider whether or not this is actually the best choice for you. And then the heart. The heart is what holds us together. It is ties the top and the bottom together, and it is what allows us to fulfill our actual purpose in this life. So for the NI heart, your actual purpose is to get the best ideas for the tribe. You're supposed to catch all of these ideas and be able to discern. But it's going to take you some work to be able to do that. You're going to have to outsource that a little bit because it is in your extroverted slot. So you need to have someone else give you feedback on it to help you to understand what you're missing there. You're going to tend to miss, because this is on the bottom side, that you're going to tend to miss the actual best option. You're going to catch all the options without even thinking about it. You're going to see all the options, but you're going to have a really hard time narrowing them down. You have to put the energy into that. For the throat, you're going to have to learn to trust your intuition. You're going to have to learn to trust that you do choose the best idea if you take the time to actually consider the possibilities. Like NI is, evolutionarily speaking, the people that tend to be the leaders and the shamans, because they see a farther future than the people who are hunters and gatherers do. They see a farther future than the people who are predicting what might happen next or remembering what happened back here. They tend to be the people that lead you into the place forward from here. And that's because they are very good at using their intuition. They are good at intuitively leaping to a conclusion with a minimum amount of input. The higher up in the stack, the more you get that. But you still need the input for all of these. You need to take the time to consider your NE. The throat specifically is going to need to be able to express, I am narrowing this possibility down. I have taken the time to consider what I need to, and this is the decision that I'm going forward with, instead of letting other people do that, which you have a tendency to do. If you're not expressing the most likely thing that you think is going to happen because of your throat area, it's because you're scared that you're choosing the wrong thing. You have been burnt enough by choosing the wrong idea, because you tend to choose the wrong idea, that you get very defensive, or you don't want to talk about it. The defensive comes in here at the third eye. That is more about the pushback that you get from the tribe for having the wrong ideas at other times. You got to strengthen your possibilities. You got to strengthen the looking at the possibilities and then making the correct decision for you. And you have to learn to not be as defensive about it. You need to learn to express this to somebody that you feel safe with, someone that you don't fear the pushback from. You need to express what you're considering as the best ideas and really get the feedback from the tribe on that. The crown, you're going to find the best ideas for yourself, and you're going to have to learn to trust yourself. The top two slots are the easiest slots to integrate, because by the point that you're at the top two slots in your integration path, you should have already pulled yourself through all of these. So you're already going to get your SE, your SI, you're going to get your TE, your TI, and those things are going to help feed the correct decision making that you are intuitively able to do. Now, the people that tend to do this for themselves need to learn to do that for others, and the people that tend to do that for the others need to learn how to do that for themselves. And you need to be able to take the time to understand all the possibilities, because that is something that you're going to tend to overlook, and how it affects going forward. You need to learn to trust your intuition, that when you get that gut decision, make it. And when you make it, then figure out why. Because you're right, like 90% of the time, maybe as high as 90% of the time. You're going to be correct in what you're just jumping into. But if you don't consider the possibilities at all, it can still bite you in the ass. And when it does bite you in the ass, if you're at the top of this stack And when the NI does bite you in the ass, it is a massive effect. When the NE bites you in the top of the ass up here, it is going to be a massive effect. Because you are right so many times here, when you are wrong, it is going to be a big wrong. Alright, so I hope I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion to a very complicated topic. This is not overly hard, but it is the basics. It is the things that you need to understand in order to help integrate your own stack, which is what we're working for. In order to get the energy movement exercises that come next to work for you in the correct manner, you need to get these foundations so that you understand when I'm talking about pull up through your base and hold and understand. That means understand where your stack is and what your focus needs to be on, and then you take the time to consider those things. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Till next time, this has been Pitt. Peace.